Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Maria Gonçalves Podcast. I'm your host, Maria, and today we have a special guest and a friend, and he's been on before, so he is coming back for a second time, is Michael Christopher. So welcome, Michael.
Hello, you're brave for having me on twice.
I love my mediums, especially my grounded mediums. And you said yes, you're extra brave because you're like, I'm going to hang out with Maria again.
That's
So
right.
can you tell people a little bit about yourself? First of all, where in the world are you located?
I am in North Dakota in the United States.
Nice.
I'm originally from New York, but I needed something to do when I was 19, so I joined the military
Yeah.
with the intention of staying for only 4 years. And 20 years later, I retired from the military up here in North Dakota and stayed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Um,
then you offer readings online, correct?
I do. I do online, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Um, I don't know if anybody is in my local area that will listen to this, but yeah, I do readings in person as well.
Okay. And I have done readings with you on TikTok. He is amazing. Go watch him, book a readings if you feel drawn to. I've also received a reading from you because you brought through my dad. That's how I met you like a year or two ago.
Yeah, it
So
was a
I'm,
fundraiser, I think.
yeah, it was a fundraiser. And then you made me cry.
I
So
didn't
he
mean to
is the
make you cry. I'm
medium.
sorry.
He is the medium that does the readings and it touches your heart with the evidence and it's so grounded. And that's why I love your work and I love hanging out with you because you're the real deal.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's mutual. See, I'm losing my voice, but it's back. No, I mean, we obviously work together on TikTok doing readings, and it's nice when you can find another medium that complements not only your abilities, but your mindset and your attitude towards mediumship.
Yeah,
And I feel that, especially when we're double linking, it works out really well.
it does. It does. So today I invited you back because I thought it would be interesting to explore some of the myths within mediumship. So, as you guys know, Michael Christopher, he's like already. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of background on me is I am Portuguese. So what I've noticed, because now that I'm offering Portuguese readings, people just assume that because I'm Portuguese and back from Portugal and fluent in Portuguese, that I believe in this stuff that the mediums, some of the mediums, not all, because I want to be clear about that, but in the spells and the spiritual darkness and all of that stuff, I don't believe in anything that's fear based. So I just want to get that out of the way. Just because we're from that culture doesn't mean we subscribe to the whole belief system. I understand it's there. I understand it's been there like hundreds, thousands of years,
Right.
but it's not who I am. But yeah, one of the fears that people have, and this is the thing I like to do because I always like to break things down and be like, well, why do they have that fear? And
Right.
like being having a spirit attached to them because that's a big fear of people. I need to go
Yes.
to a medium or a healer because they got to get rid of this attachment of a spirit because somebody says something dark's attached to me.
Right.
Yeah, what do you think?
From my perspective, I feel bad for any spirit that wants to attach himself to me because I'm the most boring person you will ever find. So that's number one.
Yeah.
Um, Number two, and again, before I ever get into, what could be controversial topics, I always say, I don't know everything. My intent is not to diminish anybody's experiences. I just like to share my mindset on things. And as far as attachments, that's a pet peeve of mine because again, you do have mediums and psychics out there that spew this nonsense that someone's going to attach themselves to you. And I'm like, here's my mindset. And this will probably cover a lot of what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
So very, very beginning for me, I would hear stuff like this and I would sit in my office where I am now and just think about things. So here's my logical brain. if we have guides, I shouldn't say if, because we do, we have
Yeah.
family members on the other side, we have friends. I have to believe that they wouldn't let any of that nonsense happen to me, for one.
Yeah.
Two, I don't give away my power by believing in that. I believe that if you have those thoughts, like is going to attract like,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't subscribe to the attachment thing, not at all.
I like that you said, like, because we are going to talk about some controversial stuff. And
Mhm.
as you guys listen, take a step back and really trust your discernment.
Yes,
Does it feel right what I am saying, what Michael is saying? Take what feels right and leave what doesn't, because I think that's super important. Because I know I've had experiences, paranormal experiences. I can't explain. People are like, oh, she's full of it. That never happened. I know it happened to me, but if you don't believe
right.
me, that's okay. So
Yep.
I think, yeah, I like that you put that there. Uh, I know that there are mediums that do work in the paranormal space. And I
Yes.
feel like that's a completely different space. And I love and respect those mediums. There's like, she's been on my podcast a few times, Jackie Dennison, and she is like, she's UK's most famous medium. She does paranormal work. She had the TV show Rescue Mediums. But when I interviewed her, she always looks at mediumship. And when people are talking about like possession, attachments, and stuff like that, she's always like, well, let's look at it from a grounded perspective, and then she moves from there. And I think that's why she's so world famous, because even as a paranormal medium, she's like, and I'm going to look at it from a grounded perspective. So I think it's really important that we stay grounded in this conversation. But
Absolutely.
one of the things that when I hear attachments, because I'll hear people say, oh, you have an attachment. And then when I sit with it, because I always have to sit with things, and then I'm like, what is that? That medium actually seeing when they're like, oh, there's a touch. Is there an attachment? Or are you just seeing maybe a loved one beside them watching over them? Or I've heard this, oh, you have something dark around you. You have a dark energy. And what I've learned over the years, when people say that, it means you're seeing the sadness within their soul. Maybe they're going through grief. Maybe they're going through a breakup. Maybe they just lost a job. So the name, the words that you're using actually means this over here. So I do that a lot because I need to understand in my brain, why do people say that? I don't know. Do you do that? Because I do that all the time.
Yeah, and then what you just said is important. They have to use the correct verbiage because when you say attachment, you got to look at the person who probably doesn't have any clue about what mediumship is and what all this is. Maybe this is new to them. So
Yeah.
you throw out that term attachment, it's like, yeah, just like you said, explain what you mean. Are you seeing that in their energy, like you said? Are they depressed? Blah, blah, blah. You're picking up on the person's energy. It's not that they have somebody attached to them. And on the other side of that, maybe they have somebody in their family that's on the other side that was depressed when they're here. And that's, to me, that's evidence of a message from them because that's their personality. That's how that person would identify that person in spirit. Yeah, example. Yeah, that could be my uncle. When he was here, he did. He went through depression, blah, blah, blah. So that's not that you're depressed as the person. No, that person in spirit is communicating with the medium, and the medium is picking up on that, whether they're aware of it or not. Again, this is just my initial thought about what that could be. So there's all
Yeah.
these different things that could be going on. We as mediums have to be very careful on how we word things and make
Yeah.
sure we explain them thoroughly because of all these terms that are out there that nobody really explains thoroughly.
That is true. And then we as mediums have a responsibility to be ethical and do not spread fear,
Yes.
because our job is to provide healing and uplifting and make that person better than when we found them, not worse.
Hmm.
And then here's an interesting one: mediums predict death. I find that so interesting. I've never predicted anybody's death in my life.
Even if I did feel that, I would never speak those words because we
Correct.
as mediums are not always correct. We are wrong a lot of the times with our interpretation of messages from the other side.
Yeah.
To me, that is so unethical that someone would actually verbalize those words to somebody. Again, even if I was feeling that, I would never even think about saying something like that.
Do you know what? I went for a reading once because somebody recommended this woman, and I drove an hour and a half to go see this woman. And I walked out, and my head was so messed up because and I didn't ask her. I did not ask. I
Yeah,
did not ask. I thought I was going for a tarot reading, and I came out with everybody's death date. And this was years ago, and I was in shock. And I'm like a medium, and I was a medium in training. This is like, oh my God, I think it's like 10, 12 years ago. And it shook me. Like it shook me to my core, and I knew better. And it took me like 2, 3 days to shake it because I knew what she did was wrong. But I
yeah.
think when you're receiving a horrific reading, because that's what I'm going to call it, because that was the experience, a horrific reading like that, I was in shock. I was like so dumbfounded because I'm like, are you for real predicting my kids' deaths? Did you just list everybody in my family, every mother, father, like everything, my kids, me? And I just like, whoa, we just need to stop this reading right now. But like I had that experience. I'm thinking, don't do that. It's like it's so bad to do that to
Oh
people.
my
Don't
Lord.
do it.
All right, for everybody listening, if someone tells you this kind of nonsense, that's a red flag. Shouldn't have to tell you it's a red flag.
But you know
Walk
what
out.
killed me? The part that I thought was just like, what is she was recommended? And I walked away, and then I went back to that person. I said, and I told her my experience. I said, that was so bad. You need to stop recommending this person because that was a horrific reading. And then after that, that person never talked to me. So that's okay.
That's good. Oh my goodness. Oh
But
my God.
it
Yeah.
was it was so bad. So here's another interesting one that I've heard. You have to be born a medium to communicate to the other side.
Well, you're looking at somebody,
Me too.
this guy,
Yeah.
that was not aware of any of this till I was 45.
Wow. Me
And it
too.
took, I've told my story, but it took losing my brothers, my sister, me going through a kidney transplant over like a 15, 20-year period that set me looking for answers. And, I was not even thinking about being a medium. It's just something that was put in my path, and the wheels began to turn. And I just kind of like, out of curiosity, started just exploring. So in a way, I think it found me.
Yeah.
And I feel that a lot of people, this work will find you when the time is right. I really do.
I agree. I came kicking and screaming. I never, ever in a million years wanted to be a
Oh,
medium.
heck no.
No.
I was like, I remember I tell this story a lot because all those years, like when I found out I was ill, especially, I found John Edward on TV, which that was my first exposure to a medium. But
Yeah.
that sent me looking, and reading books. I mean, I read so much, which looking back, that was the best informal education on what I'm doing now. But I remember John Edward had this CD collection. It was a 6 CD set about how to open up and how to turn on your inner medium. And I remember I got to like the fifth CD, and he starts talking about you have to become this sensitive person and you may begin to cry and blah blah. I threw those CDs in the garbage. I'm like, that's not for me. Sorry, I guess I'm not a
Yeah.
medium.
Oh my God. You know what? I saw him live. He came to Toronto a few years ago. He is incredible with his mediumship. And when people are like, no, he just stays there and
Yeah,
he figures it out. And then people are like, okay, you're right, you're right. But he's an exceptional medium.
yeah,
I will
for
say
sure.
that. So then there's also this myth that if you go for a psychic reading, that the medium is always 100% correct.
Can I
What do
make
you
fart
think?
noises on the air? Because I'm gonna go, no, that is incorrect.
It's true. We get it wrong. We get it wrong. And then another thing that and I've seen this on posts on social media and stuff is do not book a psychic reading to spy on other people.
I definitely agree with that because I will not read somebody else's energy. If you ask me if your boyfriend or girlfriend's cheating, one, you don't need to ask that question of a medium because you're already questioning it. So something is already steering, there's something not right. Second, to me, that's an ethical boundary. I'm reading for you. I'm not reading for a person that's not in front of me. So for me personally, yes, I will not do that.
Yeah. So no spying. Don't book
No.
readings to
And the
spy on
thing,
friends and family.
the same thing for those in the spirit world. St what do they say? Snitches get stitches. The people in spirit are not snitches. So they're also not spies.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. Um, oh, here's one, and this one breaks my heart, is if you don't receive signs from your loved ones in spirit right away, it means they're not around.
Absolutely false. When my
Yeah.
brother, my first brother that passed, it took him probably about 5 or 6 years. And when I finally got a sign, I was like, it's about damn time, dude. Where the heck have you been? This is before I was a medium. So I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't even know about signs. It was odd that I was even thinking that, but I was like, yeah, 5 years later.
Do you think he waited? Because I always find that interesting. Do you think he waited 5 years to show you a sign, or you only noticed 5 years later?
I believe that they're there and want nothing more than to reach us. We're the ones that are just not getting it. I
Okay.
believe the signs are everywhere. It's just that one, especially if this is all new to somebody, you're probably looking at it from a TV perspective of stuff you've seen on TV where it's very blatant, it's very vivid, it's very real. Where
Yeah.
in my experience, they come to us in dreams, which are visits, and there's a difference. A dream you usually forget when you wake up. A visit you don't forget. I still remember each one of my brothers, my sister, my grandparents to this day. So it's like we were actually there. Um, but there's more subtle signs, the hearing a song on the radio, seeing somebody in a supermarket that looks like your person. That
Yeah.
has happened to me so many times. So again, they're there, they're trying to reach us. It's just us understanding how this all works and then being open to it.
Wow. And there's also, I don't know if this is a myth or just a belief system within mediumship community, depending on the community you belong to, is mediums are always on 24/7. We are talking to your dead people.
When I first started and I realized this was a possibility and I finally gave in and said, okay, I'll see what happens. It was like a new toy. And I remember going like every day I was doing something with this for like 4 or 5 months. And then I hit
Yeah.
the wall. Like I was burned out. And that was my first experience with like, I am done with this. I want nothing to do with it. And I didn't know that many mediums or people that I could talk with. So I was like, what is happening? It was fun 2 days ago. Now it's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah.
That's where we'd start to learn about no, when you're working, you're working. When you're not doing a reading, you're living your life and you're not thinking about this, you're not talking about this. That's when I'm not doing it, I'm not thinking about this stuff. I'm doing my normal human thing.
Yeah. I will say this for me in the beginning, I was on 24/7 for years,
Yeah.
years, because that I never studied mediumship, never wanted to be a medium. I
Yep.
hurt my back and ta-da, dead people everywhere talking to me 24/7, and they would not be quiet and leave me alone. And I would see them, and it would be intense, and it would be visions, and I'd be in the visions, and everything around me would change. So I'd be in a room and all of a sudden I'm in a forest and I'd be like, oh my God, where am I? I would get so confused. And I was so terrified of my mediumship, but I didn't know that I could turn it off. Like I didn't know. So I was always on. And I think it was only maybe in the last 10 years that someone's like, you can turn it off. I'm like, I can? You mean I can make them stop talking to me? But before then, I didn't know that. So I was
Yeah.
always on. So that's why I said like your mediumship community, because it depends what you belong to. And but then because I was always on, because I had hurt my back, became a medium, and then I wanted to get rid of my abilities because I was like, I don't like this. Because I had heard, and this is like the whole God thing, Catholic thing. It's like the devil is coming disguised as a dead person, and they were trying to trick you to, oh, I heard everything. So I
Oh,
went through a long
yeah.
time where I was just like, I hate God. Like I really did because of the hate I was receiving from the outside people.
Right.
And then, the outside people calmed down. And then, and then I made peace with the word God. But it took a long time. But even
Hmm.
that, I went to see a medium and I was like, listen, I don't like this talky thing about spirit talking to me and communicating and seeing make it go away. And then she was like, oh, you have a bright light. Just wait till it gets really bright and the evil spirits will come get you. Well, I slept in the fetal position for a year because I was so horrified because I believed this medium. And again, and we said this in the beginning, it's all about ethics.
Yeah.
But it was, and she was like a local medium around here. I don't know if she still does work or whatever, but she scared me half to death for a year. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna come and get me. It's like, what am I gonna do when they get me? I had zero mediumship training. I was just
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to get rid of it. Like I said, I never wanted to be a medium, but now I am so, so grateful that I am. So, what do you say to people that are just scared? They're scared evil spirits. First of all, I don't even think there are evil spirits. Like, nothing bad ever happened to me, even though everybody around me told me like something that was like, they're going to get you. I was like, who is going to get me? But when you're in, what do they say? Like, you are the five people around you.
Hmm.
So when I was trying to figure it out, everybody's like, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. So obviously, I know nothing. So I'm like, oh my God, they're going to get me. And at one point, I had a family member go get holy water from the priest because I thought they're going to come get me. I'm going to throw some holy water at them. Then my mom went to Portugal and she bought all these statues like Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and we blessed them. They got blessed by a bishop or somebody in Fatima, and she brought these statues back. She's like, you're going to be protected because the evil spirits can't get you. Then I went to a crystal shop, Michael, and the crystal shop's like, I got so scammed there. I spent close to $1,000 in crystals. Put them around your bed. They won't get you. The evil spirits won't get you because you need this crystal, that crystal, the other crystal. So I got a lot of crystals because I was like, oh my God, the evil spirits. I was so obsessed. Not obsessed, but because everybody told me I was so deep in that fear that
Yeah.
somebody was Ghostbusters. I need help. They're going to get me.
Um,
It
I
was
get that.
wild.
I get that question a lot. People that want to develop their abilities, they're like, and even people I've done readings for, well, have you ever encountered an evil spirit? And I'm like, okay, let me put it to you this way. I've been doing, again, not to diminish anybody's experience because I don't know everything. There are
Yeah.
stuff, yes, out there somewhere that I'm not aware of, so I'm not going to say they don't exist. I just never experienced it, but I'll give you my perspective. In the 11 years that I've been doing this, I have never once felt uneasy, threatened, scared. I've never been in contact with something that was evil. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's my mindset that I'm very respectful of the other side. Um, you know, if I communicate with somebody on the other side that was an evil person here, like doing evil things, I'm not judging them. I'm going to give them the same voice I would give the next person in spirit. I'm just here to give them a voice. So I think it's a mutual respect that I don't judge anybody. Um, but I don't have that thought that evil spirits are going to get me. Again, because I
Yeah.
fall back to the original thing I said earlier was we have all these guides and protectors on the other side. Why wouldn't they intervene and help us? They can see them better than I can, you
Yeah.
know. And again, it's
Yeah.
just my thought that I don't think that way,
Yeah.
And again, that's just my perspective, my thought on it.
Yeah. I find it interesting, even though I just interviewed Sylvester Allen,
Yeah.
and we were talking about he's such an
Oh, he's
incredibly
great.
gifted medium. Go watch that episode. Uh but we were talking about trance mediumship, and even within newer mediums, I know there's like a fear of, oh, am I going to get possessed?
That's a good point. That is a good point. Do you know how
I
much
was
work,
scared.
do you know how much work it takes for a spirit to come in and be that close to your body? And they don't even take over your body. It's more that they're so within your energy that you can take on their mannerisms and that. It's my understanding. But it takes a lot of trust from the person and the spirit world to even make that happen. So with
Yeah,
that mindset, it's like they can't just come in and say, "Yep, I'm taking over your body."
yeah,
One, because I'm a soul, you're a soul, right? This
yeah,
is just our suit while we're here. So our
yeah,
soul is not going to let some stray come in and take
yeah.
over. That's just my silly mindset on it all.
Yeah. So I know I've asked you this question before, and I love the way you explain it. If you could explain once again, is are we born mediums?
I believe every single person on this planet is a medium, psychic, healer. This is not just something exclusive to people that have chosen to walk this path.
Yeah.
My mindset is we're souls. We come from the other side to have a human experience and then we go back. So if we're a soul, to me, it's just reminding ourselves that this is a part of who we are. This is not
Yeah.
something we do, it's part of who we are. Now, just like you'll have a person that has a natural ability to learn music or play sports,
Mm,
this is how I look at it from my perspective, doing what I do.
yeah.
I just have this natural propensity to do this work for whatever strange reason, and I chose to develop it. It didn't come easy. Everybody I've talked to who does this work, we still have to develop. And I believe everybody here can absolutely develop the ability to communicate with their friends and family on the other side at a minimum. Whether or not they go further, that's up to them. But I don't think anybody here can tell anybody that it's not a part of who you are.
Yeah, because we're all connected to that soul family, right? And
Yes.
that tie doesn't die. It stays forever. So I love that. I don't know. Do you have any other myths that you've been aware of that people have shared with you that they're scared of?
Um, well, like we talked about before we got on, I had this young girl say that she was told that don't ever meditate alone because that opens you up for a spirit that could come in and take over your body. And I was like, who is telling people this stuff? Where did you
Yeah.
get that from?
Yeah.
Again, like we've said, you have to have discernment. Just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true. Do your research, use your instinct, that gut feeling. You get that feeling if someone's full of crap. Sorry to put it that way and very bluntly, but you know if something doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
and even, okay, here's another one. When I first started this work, I was taught that I had to meditate before doing readings. And I was like, okay, I don't know any better, so I guess I got to meditate before readings. I'm a very impatient person. And after 3 or 4 weeks of that, I'm like, I sit here, stare at my wall, and go, why do I have to meditate? I don't have to meditate to talk to a person. Why do I have to meditate to talk to a spirit? And the next time I sat down to do a reading, I said, I'm just going to sit down and go. And guess what? Spirit was there. So I proved to myself that that's a myth.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying meditation's not important. It can be a very useful tool. My point with this is just saying that I don't have to do it in order to communicate. All I have to do is connect with the spirit world. And for me, it's literally thinking of the spirit world. I am now connected to the spirit world. I don't have to do anything else. They're there,
Yeah.
I'm here. They're waiting for us to just be ready.
Yeah.
That's my theory, my experience.
Oh, I like that. You reminded me of, because I used to do a lot of healing, like
Hmm.
Reiki healing, a lot of volunteer. I went on to become a Reiki master. And one of the things I noticed within the healing community is everybody would be there was like this weird competition. I got the signs, I got the symbols, I got the right candles, I got the right this, the right that. And then I would look at people, because later on I went to train people to become Reiki practitioners and
Hmm.
Reiki master teachers. And I'd be like, okay, so back in the day, when there wasn't the red, green, blue candles and there wasn't all these pretty colored paints and we didn't have all this pretty colored fabric and all the chakra stuff that's out there, does that mean I can't connect to spirit and I can't channel healing energy? Am I now not able because I don't have the stuff? And and I remember people would look at me so puzzled, because I was always like, if I am like poor and I cannot afford any of this fancy stuff, does that mean I can't be a healer? Does that mean I can't connect to the other side because I can't afford all of this extra stuff? And they would look at me and they'd be like, you could see the gears in their mind. They'd be like, wait,
Yep.
she's got a point. Because then I'd be like, the some of the most famous healers in the world, we don't even know them. They're off in the mountains and they got nothing, and they're there healing the people in their villages and stuff like that, because they don't have all this extra stuff. Like, yeah, because when I went into healing, I had to do a deep dive of why I needed to learn more about Reiki and where it came from and all of the
Yeah.
history behind it. So even within mediumship, people talk to their loved ones all the time. They don't meditate before they talk to their loved ones. I think
Hmm.
another myth is, well, first I just want to, I love meditating, so I'm addicted. But when I first became a medium, I wasn't meditating. Well, I did start to meditate, but they would still talk to me. And I was like, stop talking to me. But I just lost my train of thought. What were we
Uh-oh.
talking about?
Uh,
I will edit this part out. I
are we
forgot.
both in our 50s and is this when this stuff starts happening? This is the fun part. You should leave it in there. People need to see
Oh no.
the
Oh
real
no.
us.
For Billy. Oh my God. That's why I don't do lives.
Can I share a story real quick?
Absolutely.
So a friend of mine used to manage a crystal shop, and we used to go in there quite a bit. This is like 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I remember we were in there one day, and my friend had a friend of hers come in the store, and her friend starts describing how she was having this medical issue with her thyroid or something. When I say I felt like I needed to put my hands up around her neck and do something,
Hmm.
it scared me because the impulse was so strong. I had to put my hands in my pockets because I'm like, why am I feeling like I can heal her? I
Yeah.
was about to walk outside because I was like scared. I'm like, why, what am I feeling? And I eventually talked about it, and somebody picked up that I have this ability to help people heal. And I was like, come on, I'm just getting into accepting that I'm a medium. Now you're going to throw this part at me, right? So, like
Yeah.
the mediumship, I start playing around with it and I start experimenting. I don't know anything. I'm not trained, but I
Yeah.
would literally, I used to find myself doing readings. I'd sit there with my hands and just play with the energy subconsciously.
Yeah.
I found that when I purposely like would hold space for people, because I wanted to know, is this real? And I started doing that. And I've worked with people that said they had pain in some part of their body. And I go, okay. So I'd sit here and just send the energy. It's all I would do. I don't know anything else. I would just send the healing energy. And they would say, like, the pain went away. And I'm like, okay, are you just being nice or is this happening? I started doing more, and people would say the same thing. The pain went away. I'm like, okay, there's something here. This is weird.
Yeah.
And so I've played with that on and off over the years. So it's like, I believe again that it's all intent, that we're not actually healers. We're just holding space for people to heal themselves. That's how I look at it. And I
Yeah.
believe that energy has an intelligence that if the person that's in pain is open to receive that and believe that this is possible, then that creates that energy for them to heal themselves. That's how I
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah. I find even within healing, there is myths, and then there is the ego where I'm the all powerful healer. And then this is my opinion, everybody's got their own opinion of this. There is this, I feel, this very dangerous thing that happens within the healing community where we start to say we're healing everybody and that people struggling with mental illness is not real, that it's actually a spiritual awakening. And that is, that upsets me a lot
Yeah,
because I'm like, now we've done like a 360 and now we're not validating the mental struggles that people are going through. It's real. It's not fake. It's not a spiritual attack. It's not an attachment. It's not an evil spirit. It's real. And because at one point I was a part of a healing community, and
hmm,
that healing community that I was part of felt very strongly that mental illness could be healed and cured, and it wasn't even acknowledged, and then I had to walk away from it because I thought we're doing a disservice to people that are actually struggling. Instead of supporting them, we're saying it's fake, and I just
right,
I don't agree with that. So I think there's that myth within the healing community. No, and I want to correct myself, not everybody does it.
right,
So
right. There's ethical
some,
people out there for sure. But
yeah,
if anybody tells you they're healing you, that's to me, that's a red flag that no, that you're not, don't give away your own power. That's what I look at too, is like, don't give people that power that you can't, you're not able to do something for yourself.
yeah,
You
language
know,
is powerful.
yeah. I mean, I had a kidney transplant in 2010. Again, this is before this woo-woo stuff came into my life, but I remember when I had the kidney, I would talk to the kidney and welcome it as part of my body because I face rejection can happen at any time. It doesn't matter if you've had it 1 day or 16 years.
Yeah,
And so I just used to find myself talking to my kidney and just making it feel like it was part of me. And again, I was like, where did these thoughts even come from? Again, that point, I didn't know anything. I was just like, it just felt like a natural thing to do. And I've always thought of myself as healthy. I don't
yeah,
feel that I'm going to get sick every time I'm around somebody who's sick. Because again, your thoughts are very powerful. And if you think, oh, I'm going to get, if I go into that crowd, I'm going to catch a cold. Well, guess what you're going to manifest more than likely is you're going to talk yourself into being sick.
yeah,
And I'm not saying I'm invincible, but again, I just always think of myself as a normal, healthy person.
yeah.
And that I think is very powerful.
I think too, there is that part of your soul's destiny.
Yes.
So if you are supposed to beat the illness, heal from it, have that miracle, which I think is amazing, and I've seen miracles, uh, that is good. And then others, their soul destiny is to exit.
Yeah, it is. And this is a long story, but I mean, I talk about my journey with my health issues, and I always say that the mental part of it was the hardest part going through any of it. It was never the physical. It was the mental part of it to just not allow my thoughts to go into that dark space, especially before the transplant when I was living with knowing this was going to happen at some point. And again, I just had to convince myself to just live in the moment and not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow didn't matter. So again, even that was like creating that energy of right now I'm healthy. I feel good. That's all that matters. So, I mean, there's a lot. Again, we could go off on a tangent on that, but I think your thoughts are very, very, very critical part of you and who you are.
Yeah. And there are miracles out there,
Yes.
but I will use discernment because I've
Yeah.
I have seen some healers and it was not a good experience. So again, just like in mediumship, also in healing, use your discernment. If it doesn't feel right or if it feels too good to be true, it probably is.
Yep.
So
Yep.
always trust that gut feeling. And again, do not talk yourself out of it. Because in the beginning, I would talk myself out of it, be like, oh, they must know more. Because who am I? I'm a nobody. They're a medium. They've studied. They know more than me. Or they're a medium. They didn't study, but just they have the title medium. So obviously they know more than me, or they have the title healer. They know more than me. And there was a period of time like because after I hurt my back, I really, really struggled with medication. So I went on this journey of meditation, but I also went on this deep dive of healers and
Hmm.
finding ethical healers and learning about self-healing and all of that stuff. But it was a journey, and I met unethical people and I met ethical people. So again, as you build, I almost feel like you build your knowledge because the more knowledge you have, it is power and it helps you with discernment too. So don't be afraid to ask the questions that you need to ask of the medium, of the healer, of the psychic. You should be allowed to ask questions.
Yeah. And, a large part of the reason I go online and I do readings on all the platforms is because I tell people, it's like, do not book a reading with me unless you've seen me work.
Yeah.
Because I want you to not only see how I work, but I want you to know me as a person, you know, and that's important. I feel you have to just get to know somebody. You'll get a feeling whether that person fits what you're looking for or not, you know. So again, whether you book a reading with me, somebody else, I don't care. What's the most important is that you find the medium that's gonna to give you the messages that you need to hear, and it comes from an authentic place. So yeah, that's very important. Just don't look at somebody on the internet and go, yeah, I'm gonna book a reading with that person. Get to know them, see their work, look at referrals, reviews. And our reviews can be kind of, I don't know, because I'm always like, hey, I'm appreciative of the people that write me 5-star reviews, but there are
Yeah.
times when I'm not a 5-star medium, and that's just reality, you know. So we have our good days, we have our days where we can't connect, even if we stuck our finger in a light socket. It's just how it's just how it is. So, you know, we have to be real when we're putting ourselves out there to just let people know and to understand that, yeah, we're not perfect. Far from it.
Okay, so I just remembered another myth. After somebody passes, how long do I have to wait?
All right, I'll say this. They're there right now. If they left 5 minutes ago, they're there. Um, because there's no time over there. And
Yeah.
I recommend that people wait a few months. I would say give yourself that period to grieve, right, before you book. But that's just my own advice. I've had people book with me and I've done the reading and then afterwards find out that they just passed like a week ago. And I'm like, wow. So again, they're there, they're just waiting for us. So I just think that you have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're deep in grief, no matter what comes through, it's probably not the right time. You got to wait till you're, I don't know. It's hard. It's not really for me to say when, but my best advice, I always say this. When you can begin to think of your person in spirit and smile and remember the good times throughout that person's life, that's just my personal recommendation. That's a good barometer of, okay, you're never going to get over the loss of somebody. You never should. They're part of your life. They always will be. We will be with them again. But however, I believe that you have to get through a certain period of grief and learn to start living your life again without that person physically here and being okay. I
Yeah.
hope that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm of the belief get your reading whenever you want
Yes.
because they're on the other
Yeah.
side and they're waiting to talk to us.
Yeah.
So I know, like my dad, when he passed away, I had a reading, I think like 3 days later, but my dad came to me that night. And I think too, like I'm a medium. So to me, my perspective's different.
Yeah.
But I've had people that their loved ones have passed away and they book a reading the next day. And I'm okay with that. Because
Yeah.
my thing is, it needs to feel right for you. And then I do record it because I'm like, you may forget this. But
Yeah.
if it feels right for you, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it. Because I think it's weird when there's a rule. You got to wait 3 months. You got to wait 6 months. You got to wait 1 year. It's like, what? Who are we waiting for? So do
Yeah.
what feels right for you. And then there's this other myth, which I found a little bit disturbing and kind of breaks my heart and sad. So this is not true. I'm going to say this right now. It's not true. It's if you get a reading too early, you're disturbing the dead and they won't make it to heaven.
No.
I've heard that a few times.
I
I've
have
had people
to.
come
I
for
have to.
readings and they're so scared. They're like, I really want a reading, but am I disturbing them? Are they not going to make it to the other side? So
They're already there.
they're already there. They are there. I will say, like, when my dad passed away, there we were gathered around him. So it was me, my sister, and my mom, and then one of the nurses there. And there was this moment right after my dad passed away where the room feels full. Like it's only three people, but the whole room felt so full and then it didn't. And you know that in that moment, the spirit world came to take their soul to the other side so they could celebrate. But it
Yeah.
was like, it was really cool because I was not expecting it. And then when I asked other people that were in the room when their loved ones passed away, they're like, yeah, I had that experience. And they were by themselves. They're like, all of a sudden, you just had a knowing or a sense that
Yeah.
the room was full, like packed of spirit people, their loved ones on the other side coming to get them to celebrate their return to the spirit world.
Yeah.
That's like, what a miracle that is.
Yeah. And yeah, they're just waiting for us.
You know what
Um,
I've learned too, Michael? This is what I've learned. I was telling this to Sylvester. I've learned that the more that I study, the more books I read, the more people that I interview, the less I feel I know. I feel like I'm that drop in the ocean when you once you really start to explore, you're like, oh my goodness, there's so much more out there that we don't know.
and I don't think we're supposed to know. People think that mediums know we have an insight to everything, and I'm like, I'm just as clueless as the next person. I really am. I don't have all the answers, and we're not supposed to. I just know how to talk to them. That's all I've ever wanted to do. I have no interest in learning about what we do on the other side. I have a feeling I know what happens, that we exist in some way. And that's cool. That place is waiting, but I'm here for a reason. I'm here to live my physical life. I don't have my head in the clouds 24/7 thinking about the other side because I'm
Yeah.
here to do this. I'm here to buy
Yeah.
motorcycles every other month or whatever I want to do. That's just crazy because I like doing it. Um,
I think
so
that's awesome.
yeah, I and I think we're talking about grounding, and that I think is a good point that we're here for a reason. Yes, it's comforting to know that that other place exists, but I think it's unhealthy to just be all in that all the time while sacrificing your physical life thinking about there. No, you're here.
Yeah.
Shitty things are going to happen to us. And the weird thing is that my mindset now is like, I actually sit back and go, wow, why is this happening? What am I supposed to learn from this? Where 10 years ago, I'd probably be like, dang it again. I just got
Yeah.
through this. Now this is happening. I kind of laugh at it now because I'm like, I'm going to look back at this when I'm back there and go, huh, you handled that pretty good because it is what it is. Things are going to happen to us. And you just deal with it and you learn from it. I don't know. That was probably deep, but that's my mindset. I'm like, yep, whatever.
Yeah. And I think people forget we're humans. We are humans, and to give us grace as mediums, as healers, as psychics, as doing this spiritual work, because I don't know if everybody admits it, but I think I'm going to admit it. I make mistakes just like everybody else. We get things wrong, but our intention is always to do the best work we can for the spirit world and for the person sitting in front of us because they are just as important, the person receiving the reading.
They are. Um, we translate energy into physical language. Um, it's not like they're standing there talking to us saying, "Tell my mom I said X, Y, Z." I wish it was that easy,
Yeah.
but we get these thoughts and feelings and emotions, and in a split second's time, we get this information, and we just have to convey it the best we can. And I always tell people when they sit down with me, I was like, don't be afraid to tell me no or that doesn't make sense. If you are trying to just shield my feelings, stop because I want this to be the most authentic experience for you. So if I don't get it right, you need to let me know because I can ask your person to help me better understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
So just like you said, I do the best I can, and whatever presents, presents.
Yeah. I think too within a mediumship, to get a reading is very powerful and healing. But just to remind people that if you need to see a counselor, that's a good thing too. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
I know some people like to see counselors, others hate it, never will. But I
Mhm.
think, and this is just my opinion, it's okay to see a therapist after grief. I knew of a person, of a friend that after their loved ones passed away, they really struggled. They saw a medium, it brought healing, but they still really struggled with the healing, like
Yep.
with the grief, sorry, and they saw a therapist. So I think it's good to put out there that just because we do the spiritual stuff does not mean that we don't see therapists or
Right.
grief counselors or mental health specialists, whatever we need. I think it's okay to do that. You shouldn't stop yourself and think that it's either, as I find this is weird too. There's that myth of it's either one or the other. You can't have both.
It's a team. Any way that you can find to help you begin to heal is the route you need to take. And I've said this, I am not a therapist.
Me neither.
Most mediums aren't. There are people that do therapy and they are
Mhm.
mediums. So that's the hard part for me because I want people to feel better, but all I can do is deliver you a message. It's part of a team, I think. Like you're saying, this is just one part of that healing process. But And I've had spirit come through in messages and just bring that up, like they need to talk to somebody. The family's not talking to each other, just acting like this never happened. And they're
Yeah.
from the other side, they're just trying to convey that. Please go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So even they're on board with go, whatever you need to do to bring you back to life to a point where you're enjoying your time, knowing that your friends and family are there and they want nothing more for us here to smile and laugh and enjoy the time that we have because it's short.
Yeah. That is true. I want to say thank you so much for being with us. We've come to the end of our time together. And again, guys, for those of you that are watching and listening, use discernment. Like in this conversation, take what feels right, leave what doesn't. And I hope it gets you to start to question things within your life because that's a good thing. It's a good thing to be skeptical because I am skeptical. Aren't
Same
you,
here. I am
Michael?
the most skeptical person you'll ever meet. Even with my own work, I've said to Spirit, I'm like, you need to give it to me straight because if I don't believe me or you, I am not doing this work.
Do you know what? I'm skeptical with my guides. I have friends that are like, I listen to my guides. I go, no, I don't. I question that. I'm like, why did you say, why do you want me to do this? I don't want to do it. I'm not listening to you right now. I'm always
Oh, I've had my
fighting,
fit.
arguing with my guides. I'm so skeptic. It's like, why should I listen to you? Really?
Oh,
Usually nine times out of 10, I listen. But first, I have to have like a big large discussion with them and see like, do I agree with what where you're trying to guide me or not guide me? Because I think it's healthy.
My typical question to him is, what the hell was that about? After something happens, where were you on that one?
No, I'm like, you can't make me. And in the end, I do it. You
Yeah,
can't make me. What are you talking about? You're not the boss of me. And then in the end, I end up doing whatever it was I was supposed to do. And if I didn't, I get a couple of life lessons in
yeah,
between. So I've learned the hard way, but nothing wrong, guys. Don't be scared. Be skeptic. Be
yes,
skeptic. Ask the questions. Know you are always safe. Oh, Michael, do you do protections?
no.
Me neither. I don't,
And here's
because I'm
why.
safe.
Again, I don't feel I need protection. Protection from what?
Yeah.
My guides, again, on my teams, unless I did something really goofy that they're like, all right, let them get them, but I don't think they will.
I think we need to lock our doors so we don't get robbed. But other than that, we're
Yes,
good with the spirit world.
I fear humans way more than I do spirit.
They're a little bit scarier, yes. So for spirit, we are safe. Um, Yeah, I've loved this conversation with you. Thank you
Same.
for joining me and answering some of the questions that people are emailing me, asking me about. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to go through some of these questions with another medium. And again, trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, know you're allowed to end a reading and be like, you know what, this doesn't feel right for me. And hopefully that medium should be able to give you a refund. Just saying
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
use discernment and I'm going to have all of Michael's contact information, his website, all of his social media links. Don't forget to give him a follow, and he does some live readings. We're going to be doing live readings on TikTok again, so it's always so much fun to hang out with you. And yeah, wishing everybody an awesome day. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.